New Levy County municipal leaders will be sworn in during the coming days. In the county seat of Bronson, Virginia Phillips beat Mark Kesseth by 50 votes to win seat 2. The seat 4 race was 10 times tighter. Franklin Schuler Jr. won by a 5-vote margin over Jordan Jabbar. Moving down U.S. Highway 98 to Inglis, Commissioner Stephen Schwing beat Mayor Drew White and Harry Broadhead. Susan Gill Sims will stay on the council and be joined by Daniel Hill, the top vote getter. Voters in neighboring Yankeetown picked Lawrence Voracek, Kat Atherley, and John Pisano to the town council. The only current council member who re-ran unsuccessfully was Jeffrey St. John. Nearly 60% of voters support adding certain property rights to the town's comprehensive plan. Finally, Gail Lamb, Russell Meeks Sr., Therese Granger, and Zim Padgett were the top vote getters today and will join the Otter Creek Town Council. 65 people voted in this town election.